it's ridiculous that that this kind of action is in any way, shape, or form associated with like the reasonable approach, like what the student movement has done. It's on the exact opposite end of the spectrum in terms of like productivity. It's not even like, this is just I mean, this is just like, this is violence for the sake of violence and nothing more. It's senseless violence. That's it. He had like Molotov cocktails or something, I guess. He used a flamethrower and threw a yeah, someone said there was a flamethrower as well. The protest was to free the hostages. Yeah, it was it was like a pro-Israel protest, but it doesn't fucking matter what the protest was for. That's psychotic. What do you mean? Like, that's an insane thing to do. And this man is an insane person. Like, absolutely insane person. Thank God nobody died. Holy ICE was caught on video posting as utility workers. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But let's continue.
Community members in Boulder, Colorado. They were calling for the release of the hostages held by Hamas. 8 people hospitalized after witnesses say the attacker used a makeshift flamethrower.
Yeah, it's like, it does matter. You don't think a pro-Israel protest is psychotic in and of itself? Yes, it is. But you know what you can't do? Throw Molotov cocktails at it. What are you, stupid? Are you out of your mind? Are you insane? Like, come on, dude. Jesus Christ. Yeah, what do you think this is? Grand Theft Auto? What are you, insane? Are you out of your mind? Are you a federal agent? Shut the up.
And threw an incendiary device. The man was taken into custody at the scene. Mola Lenghi is in Boulder with the latest. Good morning, Mola.
Well, good morning, George. The FBI invested.
Motherfuckers could do anything as long as they slap a free Palestine at the end of it. There's like dumb that will go, oh, that was actually base. Like, you're a moron, okay? Calm down.
Investigating this as a potential targeted act of terrorism. Witnesses here describing just a horrifying scene here at this outdoor pedestrian mall in Boulder. People being set on fire.
Officers rushing to the scene in Boulder, Colorado around 1:30 Sunday afternoon after receiving calls.
Yeah, he did. Great job for this guy. Almost lit a dude who I guess survived the Holocaust on fire. What are we doing? What the are you talking about? Are you insane? Like 87-year-old Jewish dude who like, or Jewish woman who survived the Holocaust getting lit on fire. Not exactly great, you know? Are you insane? Yeah, this is like, there is there are a lot of instances of direct action that is valid, valuable, reasonable, okay? This is not even in the range of appropriate behavior. Get the out of here. No one is actually even supporting it. Someone just like tried to say some dumb shit, and I immediately clamped on it.
Of people being set on fire.
There's multiple mixed reports about if people are on fire now. We're getting lots of 911 calls.
Police responding to a suspect armed with what officials say was a makeshift flamethrower who allegedly threw an incendiary device into the crowd. Witnesses say he yelled "Free Palestine" during the attack.
I've never seen anything like this before in my entire life. It was absolutely gruesome.
The FBI investigating what they're calling a targeted attack on a group of peaceful demonstrators who were raising awareness on the remaining Israeli hostages in Gaza.
It is clear that this is a targeted act of violence, and the FBI is investigating this.
Why do you think they're doing this? Is it because people feel increasingly desperate? Because nothing they do changes the government's course? I think that's part of it, but like, we're in America, man. We're in the United States of America. What do you think? People are insane here, okay? America is a uniquely violent country. And I think a lot of people just kind of forget how, again, uniquely violent of a nation this is. Okay? Like, there is a reason why the Palestinian movement, like, or Hamas, for example, has never had an instance of violence outside of the territory of historic Palestine. I talked about this when the embassy shooting happened, because they are laser focused on a singular goal. They are laser focused on a singular goal of ensuring that the occupation ends. Okay? And in the process, do they personally engage in heinous acts of violence? Yeah, of course. They have. It's ridiculous that that this kind of action is in any way, shape, or form associated with like the reasonable approach, like what the student movement has done. It's on the exact opposite end of the spectrum in terms of like productivity. It's not even like, this is just, this is just like, this is violence for the sake of violence and nothing more. It's senseless violence. That's it. Like, you're not, it is utterly directionless. Going to a pro-Israel rally or going to a like free the hostages rally and dropping Molotov cocktails on like 87-year-olds is psychotic, dude. It completely psychotic, completely unacceptable. Not only is it inhumane and insane, it's also entirely counterproductive. Revenge is not justice, okay? Also, revenge against other random people is extra not justice. It is completely injustice. It is unjust.
8 people between the ages
I don't even think this dude is like an anarchist or anything like that. He was like a 40, 50-year-old guy, dude. I think he's a person who is unimaginably frustrated and like lost his mind. I mean, you're talking about a dude who took his shirt off to like try to, use Molotov cocktails on a bunch of old people, The
52 and 88 injured. 2 airlifted to burn units, 1 in critical condition. A source brief tells ABC News one of the victims.
Yeah, from what I understand, he's an Egyptian national who overstayed his visa. Yes, and now they're gonna clamp down extra hard. Not only are they gonna clamp down on people like me. Apparently, Jonathan Greenblatt is trying to say that like I'm responsible for this again, which is so insane, dude. It's so psychotic. Like, the f are you doing, man? Again, yeah. Anytime any sort of like violence takes place against like a pro-Israeli rally or anyone out there, he just goes, oh, it's Hasan Piker's fault. Dude, what are you saying? What the kind of psychotic nonsense is this? My number one op
is apparently a female Holocaust survivor. This video shows the suspect, according to an official briefed on the situation, holding what appears to be Molotov cocktails in front of a patch of burning grass, screaming at the crowd before being taken down by police.
He had 3 Molotov cocktails. One of them he threw inside of a group, and one lady lit on fire from head to toe.
There was a jug filled with the same stuff. I thought it was alcohol at first, but it smelled like gasoline. He was also taking this garden sprayer, basically, and spraying.
Every time a Palestinian is killed in the USA by some freak, do we now get to blame Greenblatt personally? Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. He has literally gone on television and been like, oh, if you're wearing a keffiyeh, it's basically a swastika, right? He says that without any just cause whatsoever. And yet, when people who are wearing keffiyehs get shot and paralyzed, like the shooter in Vermont that shot those 3 college students, obviously that's not Greenblatt's fault. You know what I mean? No one would ever say that. Because there's an overwhelming amount of, like, these things are not directional, okay? These things do not happen because of a singular person. Very rarely do these things happen because a person goes, oh, I got radicalized by this person and that's why I did it, okay? It's a combination of systemic factors. Our social fabric is ripped apart at this point. Americans are insanely violent and insanely desensitized to violence. Part of that is because of all of the violence that we have subjected others to overseas, coming back around. All of the violence that American foreign policy creates for innocent individuals. No, I haven't watched Mountainhead, okay? Shut up about Mountainhead. America's basically like a PvP on Grand Theft Auto lobby. But no, when someone who is pro-Palestine is subjected to violence, I don't think it's Jonathan Greenblatt's fault either, even though he does directly say things that would invoke a violent response that would urge people to take violent actions. It's also the same reason why I don't blame like Ethan Klein for, being detained by Customs and Border Patrol. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
People with this gasoline and fire, flames.
Authorities identifying 45-year-old Mohammed Sabri Solomon as the suspect apprehended on scene.
This has every single sign of being a hate crime. The perpetrator was waiting for people who were engaging in peaceful activity. It was a group of Jews from Boulder who were making a stand for freeing hostages who've been in prison since October 7th.
Overnight, the FBI descending on the suspect's alleged...
The American state has endorsed insane violence overseas, and this emboldens violent and antisocial individuals within America. Violence abroad has altered the social contract in the most destructive way possible. Yes.
Residents in the Colorado Springs area, about an hour and a half from Boulder. The group, Run for Their Lives, meets weekly, ending their walk at this courthouse. Omar Shahar, who was leading the group, says he saw the man waiting for them before they were attacked.
You see fire under the legs of your friends in your community. You want to help them. And then this is when we all retreated and realized that he doesn't care. He's there to harm as much as possible.
Well, we're learning that the suspect was in the United States illegally, according to an official at the Department of Homeland Security. The Boulder County Jail database says the suspect is being held on a $10 million bond, in addition to a list of charges this morning, including attempted murder as well as murder. Now, we should note, according to police at least, that there have been no fatalities reported in this attack, but we are expecting more detailed, more formal information on these charges.
FBI says targeted terror attack on Colorado event for Israeli hostages. Yeah. Also, one other aspect of these kinds of like vigilante and I don't even want to call this like vigilante justice, because there is not, like, it's just a literally random unstable person behaving in an incredibly violent way. You know what I mean? It's like attempted mass murder, basically. Okay, it's like beyond vigilantism. Once again, revenge is not justice, okay? This is something that I need to be very clear about. But outside of that, this is so perfectly designed for, one, the media cycle to immediately laser in on this. The dude himself is both Egyptian, I think he's Muslim, and an undocumented migrant. It is so perfect for the Trump administration to basically kill as many pro-Palestine people as possible by sending them over to seek God and forgetting about them. You know what I mean? It's just, it moves the conversation away from what happened a day prior to this, okay, or the same day in the same...
The FBI is calling it an act of terror. In Boulder, Colorado, at least 8 people injured in an attack on a peaceful gathering in support of the Israeli hostages being held in Gaza. The images emerging are disturbing. Smoke seen rising at the scene. And this comes after the FBI says a man used makeshift flamethrower and threw an incendiary device into the crowd. Witnesses described a horrifying scene.
From my point of view, all of a sudden I felt the heat, like it was a Molotov cocktail equivalent, a gas bomb in a glass jar thrown. I saw it, a big flame as high as a tree. And all I saw was someone on fire.
The suspect is under arrest. Law enforcement have identified him as 45-year-old Mohammed Solomon. CNN's Whitney Wild is at the scene in Boulder. She's joining us right now. Whitney, first and foremost, what are we learning about the victims this morning?
Well, what we know is that...
Thoughts on a potential false flag? No, dude, stop. I haven't seen enough details, but stop immediately assuming it's a false flag, please. Jesus Christ, dude. Some of you guys are so unserious. This is just, again, another issue with like the way Americans view politics. Everything's like a game. Everything's like a conspiracy. Holy. Sometimes what you see is what you get. Okay? God, it's so ironic that the last time this happened with the Israeli embassy staffer shooter, I covered extensively the misinformation that flies around, talking about how I don't think it's a false flag, and covering it extensively, which led me to be banned for a day, okay? One must ask why. Anyone instantly thinks something is a false flag, okay? This happens with right-wingers. This even happens with leftists as well. The reason why is partially because everyone's brain is cooked at this point. No one can just like look at a situation and instantly go, I don't think that's what you see is what you get. There always has to be an alternative. There always has to be an alternative explanation. Okay? You have to stop doing this. The other reason why people say this is because they understand that this is a ridiculous instance of violence that is horrifying and also horrible. It's horrifying. It's literally the it will have immense negative consequences. So immediately people go cope mode and just go, oh, I think it's a false flag maybe. Like, that's
Horrifyingly, one of them was also a Holocaust survivor, as you had mentioned earlier. They range in age, Kate, from 52 to 88 years old. What we know right now is very little about the extent of their injuries, but the little we do know, according to police, is that 2 people were airlifted to Denver area hospitals. 1 victim was very seriously injured. This was a horrifying attack, Kate, as you described. This man holding what were basically spray bottles full of what looked like incendiary material and then throwing that onto the crowd. And when he initiated that attack, Kate, these are not people who run away from their neighbors. They run to them to try to help. This is a community that will need to lean on one another as they move forward. Here's more on that from the Boulder Police Chief.
Boulder is not immune to tragedy, sadly, and I know a lot of people are scared right now. A lot of people are upset and questioning how this happened and why. All I know is Boulder has recovered before from acts of violence, and we will again recover. I urge the community in this time to come together. Now is not the time to be divisive, and we will continue to ensure community safety along with all of our partners.
Okay, that help, that sense of community will be more important than ever as they try to move forward after this tragedy. Kate?
And what more are we learning about this suspect right now?
Well, some of these details are coming to light. Our law enforcement sources are telling CNN's John Miller that he had applied for asylum in the United States in 2005. The White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller tweeted that he was here illegally, saying that he had overstayed a tourist visa. Reeve reached out to ICE to try to find out more information on that. Kate, at the moment, he is in custody in Boulder. He was booked just before midnight last night. He's booked on multiple charges, including 1 count of explosive incendiary devices used during a felony. Again, much more to learn here, and we expect that more information will come forward at his first hearing at 1:30 this afternoon local time. Kate.
All right, Whitney, thank you very much. John.
All right, with us now are CNN senior law enforcement analyst Andrew McCabe and the aforementioned.
What? I think this was a guy that was on board with it until he realized the consequences of it. Then his acceptance of state violence allowed him to justify his retribution. Why do you report tweets as truthful? Are you talking to CNN? Oh.
Mentioned John Miller, CNN chief law enforcement and intelligence analyst. John, what else are you hearing from your sources right now?
Well, they're digging into the background of this individual, particularly looking at how he got here, when he got here, how he stayed here. But what you gather from careful viewing of the videos taken by people at the scene is, and this is going to be a large factor about charging decisions and motive, is he's yelling, "Free Palestine," according to police, but our review of the tape is also, he says twice, he yells, "We have to end Zionists." Oh, so that goes directly to motive. The chief called it targeted attack of hate. The FBI director called it an act of terrorism. And the fact that we see him at the scene, remaining on the scene, he didn't attempt to flee. Nobody seems to be holding him back. Now, bear in mind, he's holding 2 different bottles of liquid with red rags coming out of them that could be other incendiary devices, but he remained on the scene. He did not resist when police took him down and handcuffed him. Very much like what we saw at the Jewish Museum in Washington just several days ago in an attack involving a gunman, whereas we're seeing what appears to be people answering the call from multiple platforms from foreign terrorist organizations, calling on people to act alone on U.S. soil against public events with rudimentary tools. And we're seeing them remain on the scene apparently to underscore that message and that motive.
So, Andrew McCabe, how do you go about an investigation like this? What are the key parts of it? And to that point that John Miller was just bringing up, these people being urged by organizations around the world to act on U.S. soil, how do you fight that?
Yeah, John. So what the investigators are doing right now is very similar work to the things we discussed in the aftermath of the shooting here in D.C. at the Jewish Museum. They, as we know, executed a search warrant at this person's residence last night, and that's an effort to collect all of the devices.
Dude, post 9/11, we're back. post 9/11 war on terror meta, Islamophobia, oof, it is going to be so back. We need more surveillance. We got Palantir already clocking every single piece of information about every single American. The surveillance state is about to go extra nutty. Now, obviously, we already have the Patriot Act. We already had the great expansion of the surveillance apparatus justified by 9/11. It is going to be, oof. Like, I don't think that if there are members within mainstream media that look at the situation and think to themselves like what the repercussions might look like, they are not pushing for that at all. Like, they are not pushing for restraint. A similar thing happened already when this kind of random acts of violence was not taking place. As a matter of fact, hate crimes were taking place against people who were pro-Palestinian under the Biden administration, and they still actively kept repeating over and over again that peaceful nonviolent protests on college campuses that were super buttoned up were all actually heinous anti-Semitic acts of violence, the violence that people were being subjected to, right? They lied about that over and over again, and it gave a massive opening for Donald Trump to abuse and clamp down on as many student protesters as possible and start doing this insane immigration enforcement scheme. And now liberals are either quiet about it, supportive of it, like Deborah Lipstadt, Biden's anti-Semitism envoy, okay? People like that are basically supportive of this kind of thing. And then there are some liberals who go, oh, maybe we're going a bridge too far here. Lightly criticizing the Trump administration's actions. But when moments like this take place, when things like this happen, the media once again kicks into high gear and loses their mind on this. Like, oh, well, we have to be like, when you got liberal outlets turning around and basically saying like, we got to be more careful about who we let into the country. It's like, it's over. It's over. You are completely captive to the fascist administrative apparatus. You are doing their bidding. You are not thinking about liberalism, defending free speech, defending anything. You are allowing the Trump administration and the wave of hate that will come after this to take place. This is terrifying. Acts of violence such as this one are completely unacceptable, okay? But the way to cover this is to single out this act of violence, say it's abhorrent, say it's unacceptable, instead of just like washing an entire movement with the same brush of violence to make it seem as though anyone that says free Palestine on a college campus is basically trying to light, Jewish Holocaust survivors on fire that are 87 years old. Like, that's psychotic. Meanwhile, while this is happening, simultaneously, Marco Rubio is talking about individuals who criticize Israel will be denied entry visas into the United States.
We'll stand with the Jewish people. We have implemented a vigorous new...
This is fake. This is a fake video. I lied. Apparently it's AI. No, I don't care about this video, but this is, first of all, this video, except the processing of people who criticize Israel is real. That part is not fake. Hasan, you were duped? No, I just clicked on a video. I don't know if it's real or not. But the part that is real is they are looking at people's social medias. Okay, that video, it might be AI. I don't give a shit. Someone sent it to me. But the part that is real screening against criticisms of Israel is real, and it's been around for a minute. The AI video. This is real. They've been saying this. They have been. Part of this is the fact that they stopped the appointments and are now extending. They are extending the process of vetting to social media, where they are going to look through people's social media profiles before giving them access, giving them visa access into the country, and they are looking for any kind of criticism of Israel on your social media activity. It is insane. This is directly a violation of the First Amendment. This is not fake. It's real. This part is real. I've covered it on this broadcast. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has instructed U.S. diplomats to scrutinize visa applicants' social media for criticism of the U.S. and Israel. The New York Times reports. Yeah, this is all the way back in April. That part is not fake. That part is real.
We are holding international organizations and nations accountable for rhetoric against Israel that resurfaces in the manifesto of monsters, like Iran and Sarah's killer. But we do see an eventual light at the end of this long tunnel of...
This does sound like AI, by the way. This does unironically sound like AI. Like it has the markings of a AI video. Like it sounds, when like the robotic AI speech pattern, it has the robotic AI speech pattern. It also has the tint, like what is it called? It's not the dead eyes and the weird mouth movements. That's just him. He's a soulless monster. But there is a specific like tinny sound to AI audio, to AI audio. Like it sounds like it's coming out of a tin can almost. That's why people are saying is AI potentially.
One can imagine a Middle East in which the Abraham Accords eventually reign. So thank you for the opportunity to address.
Yeah, this does look like this straight up looks AI. I don't know if it is. I mean, it's the New York Post. They could very easily be duped, but it does feel like AI. Anyway, the video being AI doesn't change the reality that like they have unironically.
I want to begin.
Yeah, special envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism officially posted this, so it's probably AI or not. This is literally something that the administration is saying. Okay, you are 6 months behind. Street interview VO6. Nope, you can't tell Neo Lud. Look up VO3 prompt theory, dude. I know we watched all of that. I talked about it already. Shut up. Shut the up. Oh my God, you're so brilliant, dude. I can't believe prompt theory.
I want to begin by thanking Foreign Minister Saar for this kind invitation, and I regret that I cannot be with you all in person.
He literally, dude, this, oh my God, this unironically sounds like AI. It's crazy. Again, this is the official account of the federal government. This is from the official account of the Office of the Special Envoy to Monitor and Combat Anti-Semitism in the United States. This is a part of the Department of State, and it literally sounds like AI, okay? I feel like I'm losing my mind. Oh my God, I'm losing my mind a little bit. Oh God, my job has gotten infinitely harder. If my goal is to go through misinformation and try to correct the record in instances of, in like random instances of violence or whatever the government is doing, welcome to the new world where half of the stuff that we're going to see, even coming from real outlets like this, could potentially be AI made, but official. I'm going crazy. I feel like I'm going insane. Oh.
Golda Meir once said, "It took Moses 40 years to find the only place in the Middle East with no oil. But Israel's wealth lay not under the ground, but in its people, the Jewish people, exiles, pilgrims, and dreamers from around the world who made the desert bloom into a high-tech superpower." Israel accomplished this miracle not by abandoning its history and identity, but by embracing them.
Dog, listen to me very carefully, okay? This is a video that the Special Envoy to Monitor and Combat Anti-Semitism, which is an official State Department organization, okay? An official State Department organization posted. It sounds like AI. It could be AI, but it is official, okay? As in, you have to treat this as though Marco Rubio said these words. Marco Rubio has already said similar words a million times over. Shut the up. Oh my God. My dad is watching some shit about AI in the background as well. What about this video seems fake? It's the tinny audio and the robotic sounds and the robotic movement that has like an AI. It's similar to how you hear like AI speech.
Sadly, some of Israel's neighbors have failed to appreciate how following Israel's example could have brought prosperity to the region. Instead, they chose war. They decided to impoverish their people in a futile effort to destroy Israel. They succeeded in the former, while failing in the latter. Anti-Semitism is the world's oldest bigotry, and given that we are all here today, it is also the world's most futile. Egyptian pharaohs, Roman emperors, Persian shahs, and Middle Eastern despots have sought to destroy the nation of Israel.
I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. Dude, we are literally looking at Israel's fascist policies and going, please, can we have that here? We want to have that here It's actually incredible what they've done. We should do it here. This is insane. What is Kaya? Place. This does not look or sound like AI. It's a recording of him joining over Zoom. That's why it sounds like that. Our brains are all broken. This is just a real video. It does not look or sound like AI. AI is not that good yet. Yeah, anyway, while we were in the process of like trying to figure out whether this is AI or not, regardless, this is a real thing that the administration is doing. Whether or not it's the video is AI or not, it's probably real, and it doesn't matter. It's, yes, as some chatters pointed out, it's most likely because it's a Zoom recording. That's why the audio sounds like that, or maybe it's written by AI. That could also be a part of it. It doesn't matter. Okay, what matters is what the administration is going to do in the aftermath of events like this. And I fear that they're going to actively suppress any kind of pro-Palestine speech. And the fact that the administration is basically saying, like, we need to do what Israel is doing. We need to do what Israel is doing. Israel's doing a great job. We got to do exactly what they're doing should be terrifying for Americans, okay? Israel has incredible censorship, even for the Israeli population, okay? They have a military censor. They do not have free speech in Israel. America has free speech. So seeing so many of these, like, supposedly right-wing pro-free speech accounts unironically lap up whatever the ADL is saying in an effort to get the government to go after people that they don't like, content creators that they don't like, simply because it's a position that I have taken is insane, okay? Holy moly, this is terrifying.
And things he might have in his house that indicate who he's been in contact with, what he's been looking at on the internet, what he's been writing, things that he's been searching in his online search history. It uncovers both his motive and it gives investigators a view into his network of contacts, because what they're looking for right now is exactly what you just suggested, to see if anyone helped him plan this event, helped him train for it, helped him acquire the materials that he needed to pull it off, or was he simply inspired by events he saw and was, you know, harboring grievances about things that he saw online and that were happening overseas in Gaza and other places. This is going to help investigators understand whether or not he had co-conspirators who might also have culpability in this attack, or if he simply acted alone, lone offender, driven by grievance and, you know, kind of went down this path towards extremism by himself. So a lot of very important questions for them to uncover in the next few days and hours, really. And we know that they're well on their way to doing that with that search warrant.
And John, you know, we use the term lone actor. In your experience, and you both have, unfortunately, a lot of experience, fortunately for us, because we get to lean on your expertise, unfortunately, because these things have happened before.
I bet the CIA is radicalizing and pushing these guys online. I don't think they need the CIA to get radicalized online. We have no support network for the average person, okay? And an unlimited amount of access to weapons, an incredible predisposition towards doing violent things in general. It is, America's a powder keg. I say this all the time. There's also a backdrop of a live streamed child Holocaust that's taking place on top of everything else. That's it.
When we talk about someone acting alone, how alone? I mean, completely alone, no contact with anyone else, or how often do you start to see some tentacle spreading?
Anything is in the range of possibility, including that a handler from a foreign terrorist organization or someone else directed him, told him what to do and how to do it. But what we're seeing pretty consistently is the opposite of that, which is people are going online, they are taking in the propaganda, they are considering the calls to violence, and they are going to public events, the Jewish Museum attack. They are picking specific targets. There's a person who is believed to be mentally unstable with a history of drug addiction who jumped over the fence with Molotov cocktails, set the Pennsylvania governor's house on fire after Passover dinner. So we're seeing these repeated incidents of individuals who are working with low-cost firearms, edged weapons, Molotov cocktails, low-tech, not putting together a complicated IED, high impact in that these rudimentary attacks garner a lot of attention.
And the targets, Andy, I mean.
Yeah, look. The U.S. ambassador to Israel would like to state for the record that journalists correctly reporting on well-documented Israeli massacres in Gaza are causing terrorist attacks. Reckless and irresponsible reporting by major U.S. news outlets are contributing to the anti-Semitic climate that has resulted in the murder of 2 young people at an Israeli embassy event in Washington last month and the attempted murder and terror attack on a group of pro-Israel demonstrators in Colorado Sunday. Without verification of any source other than Hamas and its collaborators, the New York Times, CNN, and Associated Press reported that a number of people seeking to receive humanitarian food box from the Gaza Humanitarian Fund were shot or killed by the Israeli Defense Forces. These reports were false. Drone video and first-hand accounts clearly showed that there were no injuries, no fatalities, no shooting, no chaos. It is Hamas that continues to terrorize and intimidate those who seek food aid. The only source for these misleading, exaggerated, and utterly fabricated stories came from Hamas sources, which are designed to fan the flames of anti-Semitic hate that is arguably contributing to violence against Jews in the United States. Media sources who willingly parrot these libelous allegations should recant their fake news stories, apologize, and pledge to practice actual reporting. Say 10 Am Israel highs for you, okay? Here is Yona Lieberman from If Not Now that presents a great point. The news cycle underway will include countless people talking about how the attack in Boulder came only 10 days after the attack in D.C. In that time, Israel's killed 700 plus people in Gaza. The horrors in Gaza do not justify violence here, but that fact should be known. Debunking live stream event and trying to lie about it so to people is so pointless. Who do they think they are talking to? It's so incredible that this is the quiet part being said out loud. There is a reason why Israeli envoys, ambassadors to Israel, and numerous Israeli politicians in the aftermath of violence like this will quickly turn around and say, you know who bears the responsibility here? People who are correctly pointing out Israel's violent actions, because they are the ones who are radicalizing people. Okay? That's an insane statement to make. Like, it's not just people like myself, right? Obviously, the ADL has directed the crosshairs, directed the attention at me specifically, okay? Because right after the Israeli embassy staffer shooting and right after this, Jonathan Greenblatt goes on television and immediately goes, this is Hasan's fault, which is psychotic, okay? Jonathan Greenblatt has played a larger role in the dangerous conflation of Jews and Israel, more so than anyone else. I work to try every single day to decouple Judaism and Zionism from one another when Jonathan Greenblatt and many others are actively trying to say, no. You don't understand. This is the truth. It is what it is. Israel is doing this for Jewish people. It's horrifying. Here it is.
And what I really want is whether it's social media influencers on Twitch and YouTube like Hasan Piker, or other kind of promoters of hate on YouTube and TikTok like Guy Christensen, or like, these speakers at these graduations. It just happened.
Yeah, see? All of his smoke is for, like, speakers at graduations, like people that say Israel's doing a genocide, which is correct. Israel is doing a genocide. Like, people like myself who correctly say Israel's an apartheid state doing a genocide. People that are speaking at graduation, correctly pointing out that Israel's doing a genocide. These are the people who are radicalizing people. It's like, no, dude, it's the fact that Israel's doing a genocide that is radicalizing people. Okay? That's insane. Like, the argument that a lot of these guys are trying to present here basically is that Israel should be able to do a genocide and you shouldn't actually call it out, because if you call it out, then you're radicalizing people against Israel. You're radicalizing people to doing violence. That's an insane statement. Do you not care about the violence that Israel is subjecting the Palestinian people to? Obviously, Jonathan doesn't give a shit. His stated purpose, his singular goal is basically to, do propaganda at the behest of Israel.
The other day at MIT, spreading blood libels about the Jewish people or the Jewish state, it creates the conditions in which this kind of act is happening with increasing frequency. We've got to stop it once and for all. I hope the Trump administration will do just that.
Well, the fact...
And what I really...
Yes, for the record, yes. It's not just me. It is the United Nations that's also contributing to the radicalization. People obviously try to hone in and laser focus on their assessments here. They try to hone in and laser focus on targets that are priority targets for them, But yes, just like this U.S. ambassador to Israel is claiming here, okay, Michael Huckabee, it's all the journalists. When Israel actually ends up killing hundreds of Palestinians, overwhelming majority women and children and the elderly, and the media reports on it as Israel has done this, all of a sudden, this is blood libel. All of a sudden, you're like, whoa, what are you doing? You're bringing negative attention to the state of Israel. It's just, man, it's so messed up. It's so busted. You are a very easy target. I don't think I'm a very easy target. I'm just someone who he can singularly focus on to actively pressure and try to get banned. And it's because I'm one of the biggest targets. That's it. I'm one of the loudest voices with a major platform. Obviously, yeah, getting banned off Twitch is the least of my worries, but just a few short months ago, it was blood libel to say Israel deliberately struck aid trucks and targeted relief workers. If they hit this flotilla like they've done before, you'll have about a day of acknowledging reality before it goes back under the blood libel tab. Yep. Like it literally, they already struck many aid workers. They've killed hundreds of aid workers. They've killed hundreds of journalists in Palestine. And I don't think these guys understand, or they do understand. They're just like actively trying to avoid the truth and the responsibility that is in the hands of Israel. And actually those who keep consistently saying that Israel is doing this for Jewish people. If you criticize this, you hate Jewish people. Actively pairing Judaism with Israel's actions is unimaginably damaging. It is as if CARE and every single Muslim advocacy group was running around constantly saying ISIS represents Islam. It represents true Islam. If you criticize ISIS, you are Islamophobic. Okay? Ironically enough, that negative association with Islam was made by not Muslims, but actually those who wanted to damage Muslims living in the West.